Hi guys, it's Jim here from Jim and Jay's Final Say post West Ham video. Quite simply, an amazing result. I don't think any of us are expecting to come away with that sort of result from Upton Park, given the form they had this season. Although I do know recently they haven't quite been in the same sort of form that they were at the start of the season. But still, tough place to go. And you know, I thought we played very well. They didn't actually play that well, so that's possibly one of the reasons that we were able to score so many goals. But, you know, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Cliche number one. And Palace were very clinical from set pieces. That's now 17 goals this season from set pieces, which is the highest in the Premier League. And is, you know, possibly a little bit of that Pulis legacy still hanging around at the club, which is, you know, fair enough, because when you're playing teams like West Ham, yes, they play a bit more expansive football than they used to, but they're still going to limit chances to you. And, you know, if you do get set pieces, you've got to make them count. And we are doing that. And having someone like Glen Murray up front actually was kind of the perfect game for him. And he played very well. I mean, looking back at the red card, it definitely was a red card. I mean, at the time, we were all a bit in the away end. We were all a bit like, what's happened? When you look back at the first yellow and then the second one, and even one he could have had on Kouyaté earlier on in the match, then yeah, it's probably fair enough. Which is frustrating, because after scoring 2 goals, you know, he'd be pushing now for maybe a regular spot, but he's going to have to sit out for a game. But still, he was clinical and played that role up front, you know, as a big man very well. And, you know, is he an option to be our main striker? You know, possibly. The thing I think about the Premier League is that different games require different approaches. You know, against Arsenal, having Punch and sitting deep was the right kind of game, because there was a bit of space and they were going to let Palace try and play it a bit. Whereas against West Ham, it's all a bit more physical. And maybe having someone like Muzza up top is actually, you know, what you need. And pushing Punch a bit further forward, and then having Jednat back in the team, you know, maybe that's the way it is. And having this squad now that we've got that is a bit bigger, has a bit more options in depth, means that we can play different approaches or put different players in different positions depending on who we're playing. And that's probably the secret of staying in the Premier League. And that's probably why teams like Burnley and Leicester and Palace in the past haven't done so well, because they haven't really had those options. But now it feels like we do. And I think that's one of the reasons we're probably going to be okay. Certainly now, 30 points with 11 games left. You know, you've got to say Palace are probably safe. I don't want to jinx it there, but I think we're looking very good. And on the day, it was a great result. You know, Scott Dan scored a lovely header and was solid as ever at the back. No Soiree. Kelly was back at left back, but I thought Kelly did okay. Soiree, it seems, has sort of been drip fed into the team, much in the way that Pardew did the same with the right back, the French right back he had at Newcastle, whose name escapes me. Debuchy apparently was criticised in his first few games. So, you know, Pardew maybe is trying to deflect that away from Soiree, but that's fair enough. We do have options, and Kelly, you know, does a job at left back. But you know, man of the match for me probably. Yeah, Murray was great and scored 2 goals, and we all love Mus and want to see him score goals. But I think Punch again probably. First half was pretty shaky, gave the ball away quite a lot in some pretty dangerous positions. But second half, he just seemed to get it together and was much better with his, you know, his use of the ball. And on the day, he's got 3 assists. You know, so he's done very well. And we're starting to see a bit more of the Punch that we saw from last season, who was winning us games and winning us points. So it was a good day all round. I had a great day. The away end was packed. You know, always going to a London derby. You know, even though it's not really, you know, West Ham isn't one of those teams that I think Palace fans really care about that much. But you know, they're still pretty unlikable. And to go to a London derby like that and win 3-0 or 3-1 in someone else's backyard, you know, it's always great fun. And in fact, that's the second time we've done that in 2 seasons. Although previously in derbies we've not actually been that good. But there you go, we've done 2 over West Ham now, and paid them back for beating us in our backyard earlier on in the season. So it's feeling pretty good right now, isn't it? You know, we're looking all right. We're just looking good. Oh, I guess the one blotch, well, apart from Murray's red card, is the Jedi elbow at the end, which is a bit weird, a bit out of character. You know, I know Jedi likes to get stuck in, and he was getting wound up. You could see Kiyate went very early in on an elbow on him, and was doing that throughout the game. And you could see Jedi getting warmed up. In the end, he's elbowed the wrong guy. He's elbowed Saka off the ball, and it wasn't very subtle at all. And he'll probably get done for that. And you know, quite rightly, if that had been the other team, we would be saying the same thing. Although it is frustrating when you have incidents like Dawson's elbow up at West Brom, which went unpunished on Speroni, and Jedinai is probably going to get a 4-match ban for basically the same sort of thing. But because the referee didn't see it, they're allowed to have retrospective action, whereas in the West Brom game, the referee did see it and deemed it not a foul, ridiculously. So, you know, it'd be nice to get a bit of consistency, wouldn't it, in decisions like that, but I don't think any Palace fan can really defend Jedinak on that one. But we've shown in January that, you know, without him, we're okay. And again, you know, Jimmy Mack in the middle coming on for Jordan Much was fantastic. What a player this guy is. I mean, signing of the season for me. You know, potentially maybe even player of the season. Who knows? Right, that's it from me, for my West Ham review video. Here's Jay from the Eagles Beak. And we'll see you next week for the next game. Southampton away, actually, isn't it, this week? We might do one. We might wait until the next game after that as well, just QPR. But we don't know. Who knows? You might see me this week. You might have to wait till the weekend. But as ever, thanks for watching. Keep subscribing, commenting below, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Hey guys, welcome to the latest video. We're looking back at the West Ham game, and Jim will have already said his piece on here, and mine's completely independent. But I'm Jay, I'm from the Eagles Beak, I'm the editor. Go and check out our website. We're doing this project in conjunction with Palace Fan TV and 5-year plans. So it's going well so far, so we appreciate all your feedback. But looking back at the West Ham game, another game on the road and another win, really, isn't it? I mean, a fantastic result for Palace. It's one that, you know, we have fond memories of Upton Park after last season, and many people have that, that picture at the end of the game adorning their social media profiles and wherever. Some people even have the print of it of the players lined up in front of the away fans celebrating survival last season. So it's a place that we have great memories from, and we returned yesterday. First 20 minutes we were struggling to get into the game, I think, and playing Glen Murray on his own up front, battling away, battling too much on some occasions, a bit close to the mark, early booking. But he's a player that, you know, when we play one up front, we want that from a player. We want a player to hassle, harass the defenders, and that's what our players do. I mean, Fraser Campbell does the same up front, but unfortunately Murray overstepped the mark. But it was from hero to zero, wasn't it, for him? I mean, he was massively involved in the first goal. It's been given to Murray. Seemed like a a slice from Aaron Cresswell to put it in a net, but it's been given to Murray, so fair play on him. He was there with the header on goal, and it was on target. So yeah, a deserved lead, I think, because Palace had the better chances. West Ham were disappointing, really, for me. They had a chance. I bet their best chances from Mark Noble, a free kick which come off the crossbar. But yeah, going in 1-0 at half time. Glen Murray on a booking. Second half we came out. And I have to say, one player that really impressed me yesterday was Jason Puncheon. He was absolutely exceptional. 3 assists for each of the goals. I mean, the 2 goals from Glen Murray and also the header from Scott Dann. I mean, that's what Scott Dann does. He had a tremendous game as well. But Jason Puncheon, he was a little bit all over the place first 10-15 minutes, but he made up for it for the rest of the game. He was doing what he does best. I mean, his dead balls were. You know, a lot of fans complain about the dead ball situation, particularly from Jason Puncheon, from corners and free kicks and from out wide. But he seems to be reveling in this kind of new position, more in the middle for him, and he took that on yesterday, and was really pivotal in our win. And along with Scott Dann, both shared the Man of Match award for me, both hugely impressive. And I think one of the other pivotal moments was Jordan Much going off. I have to say, a lot of fans are, kind of reserved about him playing, particularly over James McArthur, who came on and changed the game for us really in the middle. He added a bit more to the game than Jordan Much could. I have to say, Jordan Much has a great pass on him. I mean, that's what he's in the team for, the passing. But we welcomed back Mile Jedinak yesterday, and it's no surprise that our possession stats were down yesterday purely because of Mile Jedinak playing in the middle, I think. But everyone was impressive. There was a question about the red card for Glen Murray. I mean, it was coming. He was racking up a few fouls across the pitch during the game, and it was a silly one to go in on. Winston Reid made the most of it in the area, and there's a few challenges that he made, which you kind of think maybe he should have, as he'd been warned, he shouldn't have gone in on. But he'd done his job, and we were 3-0 up at that point, and we held on. I mean, I say held on. I mean, it was a yellow wall at the back, wasn't it, for Palace? I mean, West Ham really struggled to get through that defensive line that we had that stood firm. They got a goal back, but they couldn't get that second, which would have been a bit tight, close for comfort. But this is Palace, we'd never make things easy for ourselves. And the quote from Pardew on the TV last night was absolutely spot on, and it sums it up. What it's like to be a Palace fan. So fantastic win, great 3 points, puts us in a great position in the Premier League, onto 30 points. I think that's, as it stands, 8 points ahead of the bottom three. And you have to think that another 2 wins will secure a third season in the Premier League in succession, which will be, I think it will eclipse survival from last season, really, considering how we started this year. But let's not forget the great result yesterday at West Ham. West Ham are a team which have faltered of late, but they've surprised a lot of people this season, and they did disappoint me, and they have disappointed a lot of West Ham fans I've spoken to since the game. A lot of them have a problem with Sam Allardyce, but that's really not for us to worry about. We're another great 3 points of Palace, and we travel to Southampton on Tuesday, and they obviously want some revenge on us knocking them out of the cup earlier in the season. So we'll see. Glen Murray will be banned for that one, so hopefully we'll have. Perhaps Sonogo isn't far off fitness, so he might be back for that one. So we'll see how we line up for that one. But great win yesterday. We're flying higher once again, and hopefully we can push on for another season in the Premier League. Thanks for watching. Any questions you got, leave them underneath this video for both me and Jim to pick up, or you can tweet us on Twitter at either of our accounts, and we'll be pleased to hear from you. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers.